Welcome back. I'm sitting with Sharon Castle, just giving you a dose of some daily inspiration. Sharon, welcome on the couch.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm really good. Thank
It's
you. How are
lovely
you?
to have you. I'm fantastic.
Great.
So what do you have for us in terms of motivation and just inspiring us and getting us out of the clutter?
Yes, the noise in our heads,
Yeah.
right? You know, what came to mind was to talk a little bit about what most people are looking at in terms of how they see their lives and the misunderstanding
Okay.
of how we really work.
Sure.
Of how the human mind and the human brain really works.
Yes,
So
yeah.
we have all of these ideas about how things can affect us and how life can throw us curved balls, etc. And none of
True.
those things are untrue.
Yeah.
But the real misunderstanding that most people don't realize is that it's not our circumstances or the outside stuff that's actually affecting us.
Sure.
What really is affecting us is the way we think about it.
Absolutely. Okay.
So life is always going to happen. You're always going to have circumstances and situations and even people that may trigger you in some way. But it's not because of what they are doing or saying. It's because of what you are thinking.
So it's your perceptions of what's happening around you and what
Yes.
meaning you're creating out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about the story, essentially, because your memories are just collected thoughts from the past.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all they are. So we're not saying things didn't happen. What we're saying is that although those things happened, they're not happening now,
True.
except for when you get it into your head. And then it feels in the body as if it's actually happening
Yeah.
right now in your current reality.
Sure.
But it's just the memory, the stored thoughts that's now showing up in the present moment. But it's already gone. Likewise, a lot of people stress about the future. What if? What if this? What if that? And we're living in dire circumstances right now with
Yeah.
what's going on in the planet.
Absolutely.
But again, all we have is now. We don't have tomorrow. We don't have next week. And we can't really know what's going to happen. It's wonderful to plan and have visions and goals, all of those things. But we can't be too attached
Yeah.
as to how we want it to look.
I think what you're saying speaks to what we're seeing a lot happening now, where people are really anxious.
Yes.
They're anxious, they're depressed, and they're on medication.
Yes.
Is there any way that people can sort of train themselves or mind their way they're thinking or mind their thoughts? How do people navigate or control what's happening inside of them?
That's such a lovely question, because what it is really just about noticing when you don't feel good.
Yeah,
It's in the feeling. Just do this with your hand
sure.
and hold on to that. And just feel how much energy it takes
Yeah,
so
a
keep
lot.
holding on to it.
Yeah.
So that's what we do to ourselves. We hold all of our thinking like a vice grip. And the moment you do that, that's when you get yourself into trouble and you feel like you're suffering. But if you just loosen up a little, it's like an
Feels good.
instant release.
Absolutely.
And if we're doing that with our heads and our hearts
Yeah.
and our minds and our brains all the time, it kind of makes sense that we're going to be showing up in life all tense and contracted.
Yeah.
And if you want to navigate life better, you need to be a bit more expansive rather than contracted. So, I hope that answers your question, because really we've only got now. So we can't really be looking at what happened then or looking at what's going to happen in the future.
And you help people daily. Tell us about your coaching program.
Yes, well, I've got Mindfit Coaching Academy, and I'm very proud of it. We've only been going for 1 year.
Wow.
And we graduated 20 people last year through the academy. Well, in November. We started
Okay.
in May, and they went on a 6-month coaching program called Mindfit Training for Coaches.
All right.
And we've also got the most amazing program called The Awakening. And that is a 3-month program which is basically helping people to understand what it takes to wake themselves up to who they really are.
True. Okay.
Not trying to emulate other people out there, but the uniqueness of who you are in your own skin and in your own space and with your own life.
I love that.
So
yeah.
waking up to that means that you're constantly in a state of like curiosity about life, not like, oh, what will people think and what will people, be perceiving me as? And you asked that question earlier. It's about a perception. And if you change the way you look at things,
Definitely.
the things you look at change.
Okay.
Not physically. Nothing changes, but everything seems different.
True.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like that. It's like the lens that you put on, and that becomes the perception that you have of life. And how do you find out what it is that you're thinking or the quality of your thinking? When you feel like this, that's a sign. It's a little red flag for you to understand that being in that space means you're not thinking clearly.
True.
Because your brain is gripped tight
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
So relaxing into it and being yourself, not worrying too much about how things are going to work out. This is my favorite metaphor, and I got this from our coach.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how hard you try. You can only eat what's on your plate now.
True.
And we have this little saying like, there's so much on my plate, I've got so much to do. Try as you might, as powerful as you think you might be. You cannot eat what was on your plate yesterday.
Absolutely not.
And you certainly can't eat what might be on your plate tomorrow.
True.
It will show up tomorrow, and then you'll be able to eat it or devour it or take care of it then. So worrying about what's going to turn up on your plate is really the wrong way to go.
It's not helping. Yeah.
Not helping at all.
But what about people that are really, really, they can't help but be in control of their situations? They're perfectionists. They want everything to turn out and work out well. What advice would you give?
So just noticing you feeling like this again.
Yeah.
Some people are on medication and they have to be. I understand that. But there's always that idea that you can actually be better for yourself.
Yes.
Without trying to control things, because it's the control that does this again. So the more you try to control, the further away you move from peace.
Yeah.
The more relaxed you are, the more peaceful you feel.
Love that. Do you want to talk more about the training that you have for coaches?
So basically we put them on a 6 months training program, and we teach them everything they need to know about being a really good transformational life coach. And I emphasize that word because it's really about helping people to transform, not motivate them from the outside in, but inspire them from the inside out. Because it's the only way that we can really make a change in our lives. We can read, we can watch, we can try to copy, but those are just ideas from other people and opinions from other people.
Yes.
You want your own flavor of who you are.
Okay.
So when you become a coach, really it's looking at the experiences you've had in life and then honing those and allowing them to shape the style of coaching that you are going to be the most comfortable with.
Okay.
So nobody is excluded. If you
All right.
love helping people and you've heard a call to help people, that's what we do.
There's a buzzword, NLP,
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes.
Yes, I studied it and I
Okay.
used to coach from that place for a very long time. But again, it's a model or a concept that's kind of made to help people, but it's also short term.
Okay.
A
all right.
longer term is for you to find what the answer is from inside you. NLP is trying to manipulate the mind. It has its place, but I don't use it anymore. I use it for many, many years because I like people to find out for themselves, not me telling them, them finding it.
I see.
Yeah. Does that answer that question? 'Cause
perfectly.
it's like you said, it is a buzzword, and it's got its place, but certainly not from transformational coaching. Yeah.
Sharon, thank you so much. It was
You're
lovely
welcome.
having you on the show. Hope to see you again.
Yes, and thank you for having me.
After the break, we chat to Neville from Ndlondlo Reptile Park.